Again, we've made the transition, we've come, we've sat on the hip here, okay? Always want to make sure, as I say, anytime I'm in this position, I'm sitting nice and heavy on him here, okay? I want to have his hips flat, and I want to have my weight over his lower abdomen, okay? Because the last thing I want is for him to be able to move his hips backwards. If he moves his hips backwards, he can start to pull and extract the knee, okay? Even if that happens, I always want to have one arm controlling just kind of above the knee joint here, okay? So it's difficult for him to pull the knee through, okay? So what we looked at is we looked at getting nice and tight, basing hand, and then just rotating the body around for the knee bar, okay? We're gonna go further than this. Instead of me falling to the side now, I'm gonna stay a bit more upright, okay? With the knee bar, as we were falling to the side, we were rotating, so we landed directly in the knee bar position, and the alignment was correct when we landed on the hip here, okay? If we wanna go for the inside Sankaku, we wanna use the posture to rotate around before we hit the ground, okay? So again, nice and tight here. I'm basing, and I'm starting to turn my hips around. I don't want my hips to hit the ground yet, okay? So I'm turning here, okay? So my hips are still off the ground, but I'm starting to turn around. I have now, at this point here, if I put my hips down, I have bypassed, I've missed the knee bar, okay? Because again, the alignment is here, my body's alignment is here, okay? So I'm turning further than I would for the knee bar. However, what this allows is for me to continue turning around. So if everyone just comes to this far side with Dominic on, please. I will try and hook the far leg here as well to stop him trying to turn and do all these things. But the key thing is I continue to rotate, and I want to try and get this knee down to his far side hip here, okay? The whole time as well though, I'm making sure I keep hold of this leg, because if I lose this leg, he's going to start to pull, he's going to start to free the leg, okay? I don't want to be, you don't want to be a over-eager pole dancer. You don't want to spin. This is serious, don't fuck about. You don't want to spin so fast you fly off the pole and into the punters. Punters they call? I was going to say Johns, but that's with prostitutes, isn't it? Mark? What do you call it? So, we continue to rotate round. If I allow this to open up and I start to spin too quickly, sure, if I'm way faster than the guy, I might be okay, but the faster I spin and the more space I create, obviously, the more space I get, the easier it's going to spin, but the easier it's going to be for him to move away. So the whole time I'm tight here. I can just continue to inch round here, okay? I don't mind too much about this leg at the moment because I have very good control of this leg, okay? But like we said before, with this position, we're always looking then to come to the side of the knee here, okay? So we start to come to the side of the knee here, okay? Then we have kind of the basic sort of inside Sankaku position here. Again, we discussed the leg configurations, it's completely up to you. If straight away you have the control, you attack the heel. Look, if you don't and they're being awkward, like we said before, we look for the outside leg. We look to control the position and go from there, okay? The key thing is this rotation. So right from the very beginning. Got the outside position, I feel I lose it. Again, I'm controlling the knee. I'm going to keep repeating this detail, guys. With this hand position here, a lot of you are controlling it, but your elbow is flared here. This is just weak. It's really not going to do much good, okay? Almost trying to cut the tendon on the far side, and I'm pinching this elbow in tight to the hip here. Okay, so everything stays nice and tight. Then this hand uses the base, okay? As I'm rotating, I'm not rotating on the spot. I'm pushing myself into him here. Pushing, okay? So I end on the hip, on the feet. Now I'm gonna switch the arm position, okay? As exactly the same with the knee bar. This then controls the knee, so we can let go of the tendon with this arm, okay? Controlled here, I'm sat on his hips. He can't move his hips backwards, it's very hard for him to extract the knee joint. Now we start to rotate round. We switch the leg position, hand goes to the floor, okay? I'm gonna over-rotate compared to what I did before. So I continue to rotate. I'm looking to get the instep of my foot on his hamstring on the far side, and I'm looking to get my knee on the near side hip. Okay? So here's the position now. Now we have this kind of reap through to the inside, okay? We still have solid control of this leg. Straight away, if I can adjust and I can find the toes, I can start to finish, okay? If the person is hamstring curling this back, which they will do a lot of the time, okay, then we can start to pull this through and secure, okay? Then we basically go to all the strategies we looked at before of separating the legs, attacking the heel, okay? But it's important that we get a very, very tight connection. We have the knee controlled, we have the near side hip controlled here, okay? Does that make sense, guys? Go through it one more time. But again, don't do it too quick. Don't try and spin quickly. With all of these movements, guys, it's about being slow and controlled and as tight as possible. The speed element will come later on, but it's like kind of a far side armbar from knee on belly. I've seen people try and do it too quickly and they just fly off the end of the lever, okay? It's always about keeping very, very close to the joint. Far side armbar, it's about keeping your hips close to the shoulder. With the leg lock stuff, it's about keeping your hip close to your opponent's hip, okay? So, again, we're nice and tight, coming up, pushing, 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 okay? Now I switch the arm position. So again, I'm making sure this knee is staying very, very tight. My hip is completely flush against his hip, okay? There's no separation between my hip and his hip. I'm sat on his hip. I can use this arm to base. I start to come round. Okay, keeping the hips off the floor. Then I turn my top of my foot is going to hook on the far hamstring, and the knee is going to come to the near side hip, to here. Okay, again, I'm still keeping this control here. Okay, from here, as I say, then you go to the inside Sankaku kind of position you want to go to. Okay, personally, for me, when I'm here, I feel I have a really good kind of direct attack on this leg, okay? Because I have this underhook here, it's very difficult for him to do a great deal with this leg, okay? So I won't instantly try and grab this. First thing I will do is I will start to lean away and I will start to fish and try and find the heel here, okay? And again, however you finish from there is completely up to you. Does that make sense, guys? Keep your hip tight to the hip, that's the key thing. If the hip starts to migrate away from your opponent's hip, it gives them the opportunity to start to extract that knee. The knee clears the hip line, you lose everything. Okay, let's go.